Smucker. Here. Babcock. Here. Showman.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Kimbrough.
Here.
Scaglione. Here. Smith.
Here.
Fisher.
Here.
Hall. Hall. Merrill.
Here.
Ferguson.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
11 present, 1 absent. Mr. President.
Tonight's indication will be given by Ward Council Member Kevin Hall.
Excuse members, please.
Okay.
We don't have the phone. Somebody else has to give the invocation.
Excuse me, Leader Smuggler.
Is Kevin the only one?
Yes.
Mr. President, I move we excuse Member Hall this evening.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to excuse Member Hall from this evening's meeting. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock.
Here.
Showman.
Aye.
Here.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Here.
Scaglione.
Aye.
Smith.
Here.
Fisher.
Here. Here.
Hall. Merrill.
Aye.
Here.
Morris.
Aye. Aye.
11 days.
Mr. Clerk, would you give me the invocation?
Now,
No.
Member Hall.
Tonight's invocation will be given by Ward Council Member Greg Hall. Would all please stand and remain standing for the pledge, please.
I ask God's blessing upon us as we gather this meeting tonight. God has endowed us with many abilities and talents to be used to enhance the dignity of our city and the people who live in it. May we never abuse our elected commissions, but use our gifts for the good of those we serve. Amen.
And pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America.
of the
To the
republic
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Member Hawk. We are now under agenda corrections and changes. Leader Smuggler.
Mr. President, I move Rule 22A be suspended and second reading for ordinances 11 through 24 back to this evening's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend Rule 22A to add second readings to ordinances 11 through 24 to this evening's agenda. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock.
Aye.
Showman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Merrill. Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
11 days.
The motion carries and ordinances 11 through 24 are a legal part of your agenda. We are now under public hearings, and we have no public hearings for this evening. We are now under old business, and there is no old business for this evening. We're going to kind of change it up tonight. We are now under informal resolutions, and we have 4 for this evening. Mr. Clerk, would you please read resolution number 39 by title?
Adopting the camp labor standards, and codification, serious misconduct, disqualification policy for the city of Keene.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt resolution number 39.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt informal resolution number 39. Are there any remarks?
Mr. President,
Leader?
as I stated often and many times down here, there were discussions going on by between the NAACP, the mayor, the police chief, safety director, and a number of other people in the room. The police chief state statute is in charge of what the police officers learn. He's in charge of how we hire, who we hire, and he's also in charge of the standards that are set out. Symbolically, we are going to be supporting the discussion that took place with the 8 can't wait, and also the new policy of not hiring anybody with a prior record.
Thank you, Leader.
Mr. President, I'd like a roll call vote on that, too.
Are there any additional remarks? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Aye. Dolman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scanville.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Okay.
The motion carries and resolution number 39 is adopted. Resolution number 40, please.
Amendment Rule number 2, regular meetings, effective 9/14/20 until end of 2020-2021 term.
Mr. President,
Leader?
I move we adopt resolution number 40.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt the former resolution number 40. Are there any remarks? Hearing none by voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no.
No.
The ayes have it, the motion carries, and resolution number 40 is adopted. Resolution number 41, please.
Authorize Direct Service Director to open one or more purchase orders in total amount not to exceed $49,850 for purchase of portable generator for collection systems department.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 41.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt the former resolution number 41. Are there any remarks? Hearing none by voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and resolution number 41 is adopted. Resolution number 42, please.
Authorize Direct Service Director to open one more purchase orders in total amount not to exceed $35,000 for purchasing of hauling services for water.
Leader?
President, I move we adopt resolution number 42.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt the former resolution number 42. Are there any remarks? Hearing none by voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and resolution number 42 is adopted. We're now in our public speech, and we have 5 speakers for this evening.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Members,
That member Hall is back on there, but should he be saying that he's present or what?
That's been up there.
That's the.
Oh, so he's not there?
No.
Oh, really?
Member Hall, are you in attendance tonight?
Yes, I am.
Okay, for the record, Member Hall is in attendance. We are now in our public speech, and we have 5 speakers for this evening. Our first speaker is Mr. Wayne Miller. Mr. Miller, could you please step up to the podium and give us your name and residential address, please? And I would like to remind everybody that they have 3 minutes on their public speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. My name is Wayne Miller. I reside at 1906 Burke Circle, BIRK Circle, Northeast Canton, 44705. My purpose today is to present the council with a petition for the purpose of eliminating excessive speed on Johnny Cake Ridge Road. The petition is worded in a manner, petition summary and background, dangerous and excessive vehicle speed on Johnny Cake road, the current posted speed is 25 miles per hour. This posted speed limit is being ignored on a daily basis by drivers reaching speeds over 70 miles an hour. Pedestrians are at extreme risk. The action we're petitioning for is we, the undersigned, are concerned citizens, urge our leaders to act now to address and eliminate the risk of personal injury by negligent drivers that are ignoring these posted speed limits of 25 miles per hour. I have 2 copies of the petition, the number 80, residents on Johnny Cake Road. I went out over the weekend with a few of my colleagues and we obtained this. And quite frankly, the residents are frustrated. We only have 1 sidewalk on that road. And grandmothers were telling me they're frightened for their grandchildren. And the speeders, it's not gender specific. It's not age specific. We have a few kids that are doing it, but I can clock vans with female drivers with a whole van full of kids doing the same thing. So we're asking if the council can do something to alleviate the danger that our residents are facing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Who would I give this to?
Set it right there at the end of the table. Sure. We'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Again, thank you.
Our next speaker is Ida Ross Freeman. Ms. Freeman, could you please state your name and residential address, please?
Yes. 1129 7th Street Northwest, Canton, Ohio, 44703.
Pull the mic closer to you, please. That whole thing will come towards you.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay. I have a complaint first of all. I didn't get an agenda. I guess you didn't print anything. Anyway,
Go to the back table, man.
I looked over there. I think I'm on the back table. Oh, they wouldn't be. Okay. Okay. We need to police calls, documentation, documented as to the calls that they go out on, so we can get data, collect data of who's doing all these crazy stuff in our community. Like, you see that, you know, and if they have repeated things, we need to know who's doing all of this in the police department. And when there's 2 officers right together, and they come upon an incident, I think both officers should write a statement, not one. That way, somewhere in the middle, we might get the truth. We need the police to be registered by social workers on the national level, so they can go from 2 police departments shopping, go from 1 police department to another after they get fired for bad behavior. And I was told that the police have their own personal liability insurance. I think if they had their own personal liability insurance, it would save the city some money. Because if they have to pay for the insurance, they're less likely to do that, to cause bad behavior. Because every time they do bad behavior, they have to report to the liability insurance. The insurance will go up. Each looker save money. And maybe from that money that we have to pay out to people because of the police doing wrong, we can hire extra police officers. That's one proposal. And this thing with the 8-10 weight, can't wait, I think 8-10 weight because this article in the paper is so subjective. If I'm a police officer on patrol and it says ban chokehold unless deadly force is authorized. Nothing has changed, and I went through this whole thing. I'm like, what is this?
Ms. Freeman, could you bring your remarks to a close, please?
Okay, what is this? We need to, and I think you call it, 40. You need to relook at that 40, because nothing has changed. We need reform, not defunding. We need reform in our community without police never defund. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman. Our next speaker is Veronica Early, and hopefully I got that right. Ms. Early, could you please step forward and give us your name and residential address, please?
Rhonda Early, 261 Oxford Avenue, Northwest, Canton, Ohio. Okay, I'm here to talk about these reports that I could not argue in the paper, and I cannot believe you guys suggested it tonight. But then I can't believe it because it's what's been going on here in Canton. Enough is enough. You need to go on your internet and revamp your ward map. It's so outdated. It's back from 19-something. And it's very hard for us to read. And we need to read it because we are going to get every last one of people in office, all of you, everybody, all of you. And the police department, whoever in, that we can vote in office, they need out. They need out. We want all the blood in. Because you people are not serving us. You are not here for us. You are there for the police and their needs, not the people who you are supposed to, you are sworn up oath to take care of and to back and to serve and protect. You're not. And enough is enough. So we please have that updated so we can know who is what's going and what's going on and just be able to read it. Because there is no way that should be that for 19-something. There is no way. But then it is. That's kind of like they call it, intentional, but not intentional. So we don't know. But voting's going to be different this year. You guys are coming up for office, it's going to be different. You will have somebody running against you. And you're going to have people running against you hard because you people are not helping us. You voted that. And that is the craziest thing. There's nothing changed. It's the same thing they've been doing. Oh, I felt threatened, that's why I had to choke him out, he died. Oh, I felt threatened, that's why I shoot him 28 times. Oh, I felt threatened. Who's to say that, who's going to say that you weren't? We have no police people, no community policing the police. We have nothing. Just you representing us. I'm tired y'all representing me. I'm sick of it. You're not doing anything for me. They're my community. So, no. Enough's enough, and you guys, I hope you start from the job, because you will not get off next time.
That part.
Thank you, Ms. Early. Our next speaker is Skylar Bruce. Ms. Bruce, could you please step forward and give us your name and residential address, please?
My name is Skylar Bruce, and I live at 1242 Worley Avenue, Northwest. I'm excited because I get to congratulate you. Updating city policies to meet 8 can't wait standards is a big deal, a very small first step. It seems likely to me that some city officials were dragged into this new reality with a lot of objections, but we're here regardless. Thank you. I was not certain that we would see progress on 8 can't wait with the current office holders. I'm so glad we're moving forward here and now instead of waiting for after the results of an election. This move gives me confidence that my city won't have to play catch up, but that we can lead the way and be an example for other cities to follow. Black people here and everywhere can be safer with appropriate constraints on police. The next step in the process, as laid out by Campaign Zero, is Mix the Six. When I look at what Mix the Six holds, I'm amazed at what is possible. This step is more in-depth, with substantive change that has the ability to save lives and alter mindsets. We are accomplishing the first step in record time. What is laid out before us is something we do have the ability to do. I must also mention that I was disappointed with how city officials handled the news of a positive COVID-19 test among activists who were present at a special meeting on August 5th. Activists learned this information ourselves on August 10th, mere hours before the bi-weekly council meeting. Activists who attended on August 5th were barred from entering the building on August 10th, but the same was not true for council members or police officers who were also present. As I was at home in self-quarantine, I heard from several that among the officers who were at the main doors on August 10th was Officer William Watkins. Watkins was also present on August 5th, and he was much closer to the possibly contagious person since he was near the public double doors, not behind the council low wall divider. The virus doesn't care about anyone's title or role. If Watkins' services were needed to determine who was able to enter the building due to the same level of possible exposure that he also had, this could have been done via a video call. Council members Smuggler, Scaglione, and Hawk also took this to Zoom attendance. I appreciate attempts to take the pandemic seriously. However, since the virus doesn't care who someone is, preferential treatment for access to public meetings makes no public health sense. We can do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bruce. And our last speaker for tonight is Jasper Robinson. Mr. Robinson, can you please step forward and give us your name and residential address, please?
Jasper Robinson, 318 South Main Street, Oakville, Ohio. I got them.
Look at them, please.
I got them. Yeah. So, when the protest groups brought the 8 can't wait to the council, the 8 can't wait was already modified from the original 8 can't wait. After that, it was given to y'all through representation of an NAACP member. And however y'all took that, something was here talking about they can't do anything until they reread it or reword it. Y'all ended up revising or remodifying a modified version of the 8 can't wait. And with that, allow police officers to still be able to choke somebody if they deem fit. The purpose of banning the chokehold is so that they don't choke nobody to death. They have potato guns, batons, usually apartments, they'll respond pretty quick when it's somewhere in a black neighborhood, and a pistol. So when we brought you the 8 can't wait, at least that part, we wanted us to ban that. Because the police should kill people just like that. You couldn't do that. That's we could find ourselves to reform it, and then not even bring it back to all of us and allow us to agree to the term that we all did. We brought something to you. Gave us time to agree with it. You didn't agree, you modified it. You didn't even have the decency to bring it back to me. See, we wanted to agree to that before y'all sat here and voted on it. But even some of us not heard the word we're saying. You're not here to represent us at all. We were in here on a Wednesday special meeting, and it was happening. And these people told y'all how they felt. And y'all gave a disregard to it all. I hope you feel good about it.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. We are now under communications. Let the journal show that all communications are received as read. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their first reading. Mr. Clerk, please begin with ordinance number 1.
Ordinance authorizing the auditor to pay Start Mental Health and Addiction Recovery Board more obligation, amount not to exceed $18,750. Declaring the same to be an emergency for finance. 2, an ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 59, 2020, declaring the same to be an emergency for finance. Number 3, an ordinance establishing storefront investment program and authorizing the mayor and or director of public service to enter into SRP grant agreements and declaring same to be an emergency for finance. Before ordinance authorizing the mayor and director of public service to enter into a contract amendment modification, an estimated amount of $110,000 Decom Technical Services, Inc. for engineering services related to 11th Street Southeast intersection and roadway improvement project, PID 90465 GP 1144, authorized to pay any and all more obligations from responding to this emergency situation, declaring same to be an emergency. Number 5, one is out for the purpose of fostering and developing tourism in the area. The city of Canton designated as a tourism development district, section 715.014D, 5739.101 of the Ohio Revised Code, levying a tax on the privilege of engaging in the business of making certain types of sales. Downtown Canton Tourism Development District is declaring the same to be an emergency. Refer to Community Economic Development Finance. Number 6, an ordinance establishing a special fund designated as the Downtown Canton Tourism Development District Fund, declaring the same to be an emergency. Refer to Community Economic Development Finance. An ordinance amending sections 185.18 of the Administrative Code of Codified Ordinance of the City of Canton in order to authorize relocation of existing transient lots and tax funds to support redevelopment of DoubleTree by Hilton in connection with the Downtown Canton Tourism Development District, declaring same to be an emergency for the Community Economic Development Finance. Number 8, ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 59/2020, declaring same to be an emergency for finance. Number 9, ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to enter into any and all contracts necessary to respond to the City Hall communications pole replacement project, authorized now to pay any and all more obligations from responding to this emergency situation, declare same to be an emergency for finance. Number 10, ordinance authorizing the mayor and or director of public service to enter into a grant agreement with Canton City School Districts using CARES Act funds for the purchase of Wi-Fi hotspots, declare same to be an emergency for finance.
This time, the chair will declare an in-house recess for community and economic development and finance committees to meet in regard to ordinances 5 through 10 on your agenda this evening. You are now in recess.
Ordinance number 5, an ordinance, I'm sorry. Got my time out.
728.
128, an ordinance for the purpose of fostering and developing tourism in the area of the city of Canton designated as a tourism development district pursuant to sections 715.014D and 5739.101 of the Ohio Revised Code, leveling a tax on the privilege of engaging in the business of making certain types of sales in the Downtown Canton Tourism Development District and declaring the same to be an emergency. That means,
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, earlier this summer, you passed legislation that authorized the tourism development district to take place at the former McKinley Grand Hotel. This is considered companion legislation and allows for the levying of a sales tax, or what we call a gross receipts tax, within this district. Again, this district is just the footprint of the former McKinley Hotel. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions?
thank you, Deputy Mayor. Ordinance number 6, an ordinance establishing a special fund to be designated as the Downtown Canton Tourism Development District Fund and declaring the same to be an emergency. Deputy Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, sorry about that. This is to establish the actual fund where the taxes will go into.
Any questions? Thank you. Ordinance number 7, an ordinance amending section 185.18 of the Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Canton in order to authorize the relocation of existing lodging tax funds to support redevelopment of the DoubleTree by Hilton in connection with the downtown and tourism development district and declaring state of the emergency.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, again, this is companion legislation for the tourism development district legislation previously authorized by this council. This speaks to the 3% bed tax, which will be reallocated to the project itself.
Okay, any questions? Okay, let's sign that up. Thank you. At 7:31.
Okay, it's 7:31, we'll call finance to order. We have an ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 59/2020 and declaring the same to be an emergency. This is ordinance 8.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, this is a request from the Health Department to add additional appropriations to the 23-22 dental sealant fund. It's to fund additional direct costs in that program.
I would have come over there. You don't have to come over here.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on this one? Hearing none, we'll sign that out. We have ordinance number 9, an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to enter into any and all contracts necessary to respond to the city hall communications pole emergency replacement project. Authorize the auditor to pay any and all moral obligations for responding to this emergency situation and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, as a part of ongoing building maintenance throughout the city, we recently had an inspection done on the communications pole atop Canton City Hall. Long story short, the pole did not pass the inspection. We were informed that it needs to be, out of an abundance of caution, it should be taken down. The good news is with the move to the MARC system, the safety forces are off the tower. So that leaves us with, we have the Agile network from IT, and then we have the CSV SCADA system up on the current tower. So the current tower is way oversized for what our current need is. So after kind of assessing all of our options moving forward, the recommendation is to get the thing down and the new smaller pole put up prior to winter, as that would put additional strain on it. If we were to go through the full council process, design, bid, build that you would normally do, there is concern that we would not be able to get that done in time. Thus, after consulting with the law department, the need to use the emergency provisions. So essentially, our hope is that now in early September, it's looking like we'll be able to do the project to remove the pole and put the pole up. The new pole should cost somewhere between $75,000 and $100,000, and it will be split between the sewer fund and the capital funds because that's the dual use of the pole. Appreciate first reading passage because we're hoping to have the plans and everything in order by the end of the week to get this thing moving.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this one? Hearing none, we'll sign it out. Finally, ordinance number 10, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or director of public service to enter into a grant agreement with the Canton City School District using CARES Act funds for the purchase of Wi-Fi hotspots and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Mr. Chairman,
You, Mayor?
With this particular legislation, we're asking to grant Canton City Schools $500,000 on the CARES Act funds. These dollars are going to be utilized to purchase hotspots for Canton City school kids that are in desperate need of these. Canton City Schools spend approximately $500,000. They wrote a letter to the city of Canton asking if we could partner with them to grant them $500,000. Roughly, they will be able to purchase approximately 1,600 hotspots with their dollars and an additional 1,800 hotspots with our dollars, again, to assist those families who do not have connectivity within Canton City School District.
Okay, anybody have any questions on this one? Deputy Mayor, I have a question. I saw in the communication that it is estimated that 50% of the population of Canton City Schools does not currently have access to Wi-Fi. Will this bridge that gap to 100%?
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, my understanding is this will bridge the gap, but not close the gap. It will just bridge.
Okay.
It will not address 100% of the children that are in families that are in.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Deputy Mayor, thank you for this. I think that this could quite possibly be one of the most important things, in my opinion, that we do all year. In the 21st century, the children in the city have to have access to the internet, especially with COVID. So this is a good step, but it sounds like we have more to do. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I thank you, and I thank the members of the council for the consideration of this. This council has always been a partner in Canton City Schools, and this is evidence this evening. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, it is 7:37. That concludes the Finance Committee.
Council is reconvening after the recess. Leaders Muffler.
Mr. President, I move we suspend Rule 22A and place ordinances 5 through 10 back on this evening's agenda.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to suspend Rule 22A to place ordinances 5 through 10 back on this evening's agenda. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hall. Aye. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gabrielle.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
So it is, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinances 5 through 10 are a legal part of your agenda. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we suspend statutory rules on ordinances 5 through 10.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to suspend the statutory rules on ordinances 5 through 10. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gabrielle.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
So it is, Mr. President.
Here, you've heard the 3 readings.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 5.
Second. It's been moved and seconded you adopt ordinance number 5. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker. Babcock. Showman.
Aye.
Hall. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gabrielle.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
1 abstention.
The motion carries and ordinance number 5 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 6.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 6. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Showman.
Aye.
Hall. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gabrielle.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
7 yeas, 1 abstention.
Motion carries and ordinance number 6 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 7.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 7. Are there any remarks on this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock.
Aye.
Showman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gabrielle.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
No.
7 yeas, 1 nay, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 7 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 8.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 8. Are there any remarks on this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock.
Aye.
Showman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gabrielle.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Sorry about that. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 8 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 9.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 9. Are there any remarks on this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock.
Aye.
Showman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gabrielle.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
12 yeas.
The motion carries and ordinance number 9 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 10.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 10. Is there any remarks on this ordinance?
Mr. President,
Member Merrill?
I had one additional question, I believe, for Deputy Mayor Williams. Just curious, any idea what the additional cost would be to get to 100% coverage?
Mr. Chairman, members of council, those numbers are being reviewed right now. I will report back once we have a final number.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it.
Are there any additional remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock.
Aye.
Showman.
Aye.
Hall. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gabrielle.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
12 yeas.
The motion carries and ordinance number 10 is adopted. There are now no ordinances with formal resolutions for their second reading. Mr. Clerk, please begin with ordinance number 11.
The ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to convey city-owned real property no longer needed for municipal purposes to the Canton Community Improvement Corporation, declaring same to be an emergency. Number 12, ordinance amending corporation ordinance number 59/2020, declaring same to be an emergency. 13, an ordinance approving and accepting the replat of lots 364-55, 364-56, and 364-57, declaring same to be an emergency. Number 14, an ordinance approving and accepting the replat of lot 22189 and part of lot 22190, declaring same to be an emergency. Number 15, ordinance amending chapter 1107 Architectural Review Board of Part 11 Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinance of Canton. Number 16, ordinance amending section 1187.06 signs exempt from permit requirements, 1187.07 general regulations, and 1187.13 sign regulations by type, electronic message units, digital display, part 11 planning and zoning code, codified ordinance to Number 17, ordinance amending chapters 1131 definitions in section 1148.11, sale of merchandise, food items, and other items outside of structure, part 11 planning and zoning code, codified ordinance to Canton. Number 18, ordinance amending chapters 1153 outdoor dining area and sidewalk cafes, part 11 planning and zoning code, codified ordinance to Canton. 19, ordinance authorized to pay a moral obligation amount not to exceed $8,037.97 to Dell Marketing LP and declaring same to be an emergency. 20, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and director of public safety to enter into contract for the purchase of file storage. The police department will alternatively enter into contract for said purchases in accordance with the procurement process authorized by law and the same to be an emergency. 21, ordinance authorizing the mayor and director of public safety to enter into agreement for and accept $16,800 in grant funds from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services 2019 Project Safe Neighborhood Grant, authorizing how to create the 2794 Project Safe Neighborhood Grant Fund. Alternatively, authorize the mayor or the director of public safety to enter into contract for the purchase of cameras and hardware for the Wi-Fi network in accordance with any Ohio revised code. Can't codify ordinances, amending appropriation ordinance number 59/2020, declaring same to be an emergency. 22, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and director of public safety to accept the 2020 cops hiring program grant, 2020-UM-WX-0159. Authorizing how to create the 2798 2020 cops hiring program grant, 2020-UM-WX-0159, fundamental appropriation ordinance number 59/2020, declaring same to be an emergency. 23, we're getting there. The ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to enter into all agreements necessary to transfer the property outlined in Exhibit A, Stark Area Regional Transit Authority, pursuant to ORC sections 306.36 and 163, for the price of $100,000 for the property and an additional $200,000 to relocate and rebuild the Crenshaw Park shelter. Enter into any easements needed for said project, authorizing the mayor, director of public service, and/or Canton Park Board to receive said funds, advertise, receive bids, award, and enter into all contracts necessary to move and reconstruct the shelter, and enter into all contracts necessary for said move, utilizing process authorized by law, and appropriation ordinance number 59/2020, declaring same to be an emergency. 24, an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service, and enter into change order number 2 and final with Central Allied Enterprises Inc., amount not to exceed $4,727.38 for the 2019 city paving program, phase 3, Madison Avenue Southeast resurfacing project, GP 1308, declaring same to be an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their third, final reading and vote. Mr. Clerk, please read ordinance number 25.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to apply for and enter agreement for the receive fair housing partnership funds from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Authorizing how to create the 2020 FH partnership grant fund. Authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into all professional contracts necessary to allow for effective operations of the program during the grant period, using any process of the codified ordinances or the Ohio Revised Code, amending appropriation ordinance number 59/2020, declaring same to be an emergency.
Mayor?
President, I move we adopt ordinance number 25.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 25. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock.
Aye.
Shulman.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gaglione.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Longetti.
Motion carries and ordinance number 25 is adopted. Ordinance number 26.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service, to enter into special services contract with Arcadis for engineering services through an instructional evaluation phase of the Cromer Reservoir Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $258,205. Enter into agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority, land loan, in an amount not to exceed $258,205. Fund engineering services authorizing the items established 5242 Cromer Reservoir Improvement Project Fund, execute special services contract with Arcadis amount not to exceed $58,005, and appropriation order 59/2020, declaring second reading.
Leader.
President, I move to adopt ordinance number 26.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 26. Third remarks. Leader.
President, I move we amend ordinance number 26 by the amendment before everybody.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend ordinance number 26 per the copy before each of you. Are there any remarks?
Yes, I have a question really quickly.
Member Hawk.
As I'm looking at the amended document, it says Cromer Reservoir Improvement, take the amount not to exceed $258,205. And enter an agreement with Ohio Water Development Authority for planning loan amount not to exceed $259,109. Those numbers don't match. Why?
They should match. It is, the numbers should both be $259,109.
The amendment we have in front of us, the first number is $258,205.
Yeah, it's 259,109 is the correct number.
Have a new document to amend this, or what do we need to do here on this thing? We have one in front of us, an amendment. What do we need to put?
I would defer to the law department.
I'm sorry, Greg, can you repeat the question, because I'm having a heck of a time hearing you.
Greg, you might have to press the button.
Certainly, sir. On the amendment that we have in front of us, the first number is $258,000.
No, it's not 58.
$258,205. The next number down is a loan for $259,109. The two numbers don't match.
Oh, okay. Can I say something real quick? I misunderstood the first number that you said. Those two numbers are not to match. I apologize for the confusion. I misunderstood. I thought you said that there was a 215,000. No, those two numbers don't match, because the appropriation and the loan is for $259,109. That includes the fees for the actual OWDA loan. The actual agreement with Arcadis is $258,205. I misunderstood the number that you said, so I apologize for that. So it sounds like everything is correct. My bad.
No, it was not bad. It was probably the microphones and everything else, and it could possibly have been the way I was speaking in the microphone. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You clarified everything.
Thank you, Member Hawk. Are there any additional remarks? Hearing none by voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Leader Smuggler.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 26 as amended.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 26 as amended. Are there any remarks under this ordinance as amended? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Aye. Shoulders.
Aye.
Hawk. Aye. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gagnon.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Ariel.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carries. Ordinance number 26 6
Ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service, areas of change order to the under estimating amount not to exceed $100,000 public utilities relocation project, TB 13, change order number 2, the same committee.
Leader?
President, it's now 27.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 27. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Bass. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hawk. Aye. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Stanfield.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
12 yeas.
Motion carries and ordinance number 27 is adopted. We are now under announcement of committee meetings.
Mr. President,
Chairman Miro.
Finance Committee will meet September 14th at 6:30 here in council chambers.
Thank you, Member Miro.
President.
Now that should be it for the committee meetings. We are now under miscellaneous business. Is there any miscellaneous business for this evening?
Mr. President,
Member Merrill.
I just wanted to comment on the record about ordinance number 10. I want everyone to be aware of this in the public, that 50% of Canton City school children do not have access to Wi-Fi. That is not only a problem during COVID with remote learning, that is a problem for their prospects of a job where every industry is going more towards technology. And I want to commend Deputy Mayor Williams and everyone in the administration working on this, and hopefully we can get 100% access to Wi-Fi in the near future. But long term, for the children in Canton to have success, we need to come up with a long-term solution that every child in the city can have access to the internet, because the prospects of success in the 21st century without growing up with the internet are very small. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Merrill, and I would totally agree. Every child in our city deserves a chance, and I would totally agree.
Mr. President.
Or Dockery?
Yeah, just a notification that our PG&E 15 elements every year, the third Saturday in September has been canceled due to COVID.
Thank you, Mark Dockery. Is there any other miscellaneous business for this evening? Hearing none, Dockery, our quote for the week, please.
No matter what happens in life, be good to people. Be good to people. One like to be behind.
Thank you, Mark Dockery. Lear?
President, I move we adjourn.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn before the phone rings again. Mr. Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Bass. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Gaglione.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Merrill.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
12 yeas, Mr. President.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending this